U.S. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson, who is also the chairperson of the Pakistan caucus, has reached Houston after a 3-day visit to Pakistan. Consul General Abrar Hashmi, Dr. Asif Kadir, Mr. Tanveer Ahmed, Saeed Sheikh, Bhatti Sahab welcomed the delegation.
That as I discussed with Consul General Ahmed, the breaching of the rivers, it is not the rivers that cause the flooding, it is the rains. And so the Indus River and the Kinshas River, Kinsha Lake, those are the two. They were fresh water, but they're now overwhelmed by the rains that have come in the area in the south. It is some of the poorest areas of Pakistan. And just as we were there, the military had to breach these waterways in order to save a town of 1 million, but to flood towns of 250,000. So the 250,000 person town became flooded. God knows the ability to evacuate, to save a town of 1 million.
During the visit, Sheila Jackson met the President and Prime Minister of Pakistan as well as the Army Chief.
Kind enough to be, and they can acknowledge others that were there, but I do want to say this. I want to emphasize that the Singh province is basically underwater, as evidenced by NASA's MODIS satellite that shows that the heavy rain has created an ocean in Singh, and a 100-kilometer wide inland lake has been created. And I think the point that should be made is that water is not going down. It is not going down.
Sheila Jackson addressed the crowd at Houston's Terminal 4E and shed light on the flood situation in Pakistan.
70,000 women to be giving birth in these next couple of weeks. It is imperative that there be medical care for them and medical care for the potentially waterborne diseases, which would include hepatitis, dengue, and malaria, that may confront these children and these families. When I spoke to the little ones, they said they wanted to go to school. Interestingly enough, the strongest schools that are down in the region are built by USAID, but those schools are now being used for shelters. We hope with the 300,000 tents we can find some dry land to give families a place. When we were surveying by air, I could see families stranded on bridges with water all around them. That was a place that they found to escape to. And one of the bridges that we saw had been breached, broken, which separated people on either side, which they could not get to their loved ones.
Sheila Jackson warned of the outbreak of various diseases and epidemics among the flood victims. She also expressed sympathy with the women and children trapped there. She said that millions of tents are being sent to Pakistan through C-130 and also talked about speeding up relief operations.
Before I left, I wrote to President Biden and asked him to airlift food and tents, and I'm very grateful that has happened. Let me quickly just speak to this issue and then to the human factor. 40% of the cotton is lost. That is one of their largest economic engines. The damages may be as much as $10 billion, but frankly, as we met with the leaders of Pakistan, we believe it's going to be more than $10 billion, and that is an enormous amount for a country who is now facing a financial crisis as well. 1 million homes have already been lost. These are mud huts or houses that people lived in that frankly they survived in. I make no criticism of them. They survived, and out of that came across the fact that they were lost.
Sheila Jackson also appreciated the efforts of Consul General Abrar Hashmi, Tanveer Ahmed, and Dr. Asif Kadir.
We are grateful that they are standing up with peace and focus. They said it themselves. We want people over politics.
Consul General Abrar Hashmi emphasized on working on climate change and thanked Sheila Jackson for supporting Pakistan in this difficult time.
Climate change is not a myth anymore, and it's a loud clear on for all of us. It's a loud call for all of us that it is here. So with this, I thank each one of you who are listening here through directly and through this media. Once again, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson-Lee was on ground. We thank you, and we thank through you to your colleagues who were with you, the government, everyone, and my other colleagues who were Estonians. They brought Houston at the center in Islamabad. I'm very proud to represent and be here in this city, and I thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sheila Jackson expressed hope that the relationship of love and humanity between Pakistan and America will remain forever.
Children, the women, the men, they applauded. That's what I want America to be known for, is allies of generosity and love. I could not have made that happen. Of their own will, they heard the word America, the United States of America, and they applauded. And so we will continue to be part of that help. We expect that the Red Crescent, which is like the Red Cross, is needed in a very, very high level. USAID, we hope will be on the ground to be able to help. That is the humanitarian arm of the United States State Department. And this is going to be a long journey. It's not going to be any food there, and it may not be any food for next year. The seeds have been lost. But I think the greatest desire that I have and need is to get the people housed and to make sure that they have health care. We have got to have clean health care for the birth of these babies. Even though mothers do not want to leave their families, there's going to be a rash of these, and we need to make sure that we are providing the necessary comfort and health care for them.
United States cooperation with the flood-ravaged Pakistan will lead to positive progress in U.S.-Pakistan relations. OpTv Global, Houston, Texas.
OpTv की फखरिया पेशकश दुनिया भर में आबाद पाकिस्तानियों की तरक्की और कामरानी पर मबनी प्रोग्राम पाकिस्तान को तरक्की की राह पर गामजन करने के लिए दुनिया भर में पाकिस्तानी मुतहर्रिक और तैयार। दुनिया भर के मुल्कों में पाकिस्तानी का उनकी तरक्की में हिस्सा देखिए। बैनुल अक़वामी मंजर में पाकिस्तानियों का समाजी, सियासी, तिजारती और मजहबी उमूर में भरपूर किरदार